Hi and welcome to this video about interviews to presentations. Now, by the end of this video, you should have an understanding and be able to identify the differences between interviews, meetings, presentations, and pitches. This is really an introductory type of video, and I just want to go over some of the basics and the differences that you'll come across in these different genres and allude to or get you prepared for the later modules in this course that we will go into more detail about interviews and business pitches and presentations. The importance of speech. It's extremely important that you develop some sort of skill in communicating your ideas. Throughout your business career, you'll have different opportunities to speak, from the job interview to a business meeting to perhaps an internal company meeting, and you may even have the opportunity to give some sort of pitch or some sort of presentation. So it's extremely important that you learn how to speak publicly and how to speak for a purpose, but also how to make use of the language. And we'll be talking about various elements throughout this course on things that you should improve on or that you can work on or enhance to make your meaning or your speech more meaningful. Let's think about different things that you might want to consider, for example, from panel job interviews to business meetings. Now, the important things that we should be considering, and we'll go into detail about this in the course, are things like your rhythm of your speech. English is a rhythmic type of language. We don't always speak in the same rhythm, right? We speed up our speech, we slow down our speech, we have stressing, we have pausing in our speech. And these are things that you should be considering. And we'll go into more detail about how you can make use of rhythm and stress and pausing to be persuasive later on in this course. But you want to make sure that you're using an appropriate style and tone of language. And you want to make sure that the attitude that you want your audience or your people in your meeting or your panel that you're being interviewed by, you want to make sure that your attitude is being perceived the way you want it to be perceived. So just going briefly over some differences in different speaking genres or different situations. You have your one-to-one type of conversation. And then you, of course, have your one-to-many. A business presentation to an audience would be an example. You have many-to-many type of conversation. That could be a large meeting with a group of people. And in those many-to-many type of conversations, you can have collaborative speaking where you're trying to collaborate and build upon each other's jobs, or maybe you're working towards a common goal, so you're more your purpose for speaking is more cooperative in a sense. So these are things that you should be considered when you're planning your communication strategies. Okay, let's take a look at interviews very briefly. We'll go into more detail later in this course, but things that you should consider for now are that there are different types of interviews. You can have the one-to-one interview, where there's the interviewer and interviewing you for a job, for example. You can have the panel interview, which is quite common throughout the business world, where you are presenting to a panel of people, and those people on the panel could be from various backgrounds that would focus on your skills from their perspective and their needs, perhaps. And then there's also the group interviews, where you will be participating in an interview with other people, perhaps applying for the same job or multiple positions within a company. And they often look for different things in these type of interviews, such as your communication skills. Are you able to collaborate? Are you able to get your ideas across effectively? Are you able to cooperate? So there's different things that they might look for in these types of interviews. Now, then there's the meetings. Everyone loves going to meetings. And the important thing that you should consider about when you're in a meeting are things like turn taking. What strategies can you use to make sure that there's some sort of turn taking going on within people in the meeting? From phrases to simply saying things like, yes, I see what you're saying. However, have we thought about this? Right? Simple phrases that allow you to interject, allow you to interrupt, but interrupt it politely, and also add meaning to the conversation. So skills in turn taking become quite important. And then there's also the use of direct and indirect language. When would you use direct language? When is it appropriate? Sometimes indirect language might be appropriate in a meeting where there's a lot of controversy. It really depends on the situation. And body language is also important. We'll have a short video later on about body language, but you can make use of your body language to enhance your message. And also different ways of showing agreement or showing disagreement, negotiating skills in a meeting. These all become important. Presentations, again, are a little bit different. You should be aware of your audience, as usual. We always recommend that. Be aware of your purpose, and also your body language is quite important. But here, your delivery starts to play a large role in getting your message across. Delivery is extremely important, although it's not everything. Still, the content of what you're saying, the logic or the meaningfulness of what you're trying to say is the most important. But how you deliver that, are you engaging your audience? Are you using body language? This is all quite important in presentations. Pitches, quite similar to quite simple to presentations. You need to be aware of your audience. You need to be aware of your purpose. And you also need to be aware of body language as well. But you also need to be aware of the type of language that you're using to make your speech persuasive. Are you using rhetorical devices? We'll talk a little bit about that later on. Are you using stress and pausing to emphasize a particular meaning? Are you using the rhythm of your language to emphasize a main point? So these are things that you should really consider. And these are some of the main differences that you can see across these different genres of speaking. So the importance of speech, it's really, there's a lot there to think about. Every genre has a particular skill that you might want to focus on. In meetings, as I said, you might want to focus on your turn-taking strategies, your ability to use direct and indirect language, how you show agreement, how you're able to collaborate and cooperate. In job interviews, you might want to show how confident you are in your language choice, your word choice. Are you using words that emphasize your authority in the subject and your expertise in the subject? Are you presenting yourself with your speech or the rhythm of your language in a way that makes you sound enthusiastic about the job? Body language plays a role. So these are all a lot of things that you need to consider. We'll go into more detail throughout this course, but for now, this is what I want you to think about. I want you to think about the differences among the different genres of speaking, but also some of the important points and skills that are necessary to make yourself an effective speaker in different business contexts. Thank you for watching.